All right. So, hello everybody. So my name is Dr. Dominic Konkolevich. I'm a professor over at Miami University. And we're going to go over some outreach demos that we've been developing as part of the Miami Chemical Society over the past few years. So the one we're going to do today is actually based on a slime. We're actually going to do a Jello slime, right? So all we're going to need for this is Jello, stuff we get from any grocery store. We get the regular Jello, the one which has sugar in it. Actually works a little bit better for this demo. We're going to make slime from it. And we just need clear glue. So any type of clear glue, school glue works for us, right? So this one here is safe and non-toxic. And of course, people eat Jello, so this is all pretty friendly. Okay, so we're going to do 3 different types of slime. And we're sort of going to do one which is sort of our baseline recipe of sort of a usual amount we put in for our formulation. And then we're going to have one here which we sort of labeled as minus, and we're going to put half as much Jello in that one there, right? So we're going to put less Jello in the one called minus, 0 is sort of our starting point, and then this one which we put a plus sign on here, we're actually going to put more Jello in that one there, right? We're going to look at the difference in properties we get as we change the amount of Jello to glue to make our slime. Okay, so this sort of our typical formulation. Okay, we're just going to use a spoon. We're just going to put into this formulation 2 spoons, so 2 level spoons of Jello. So there's one, there's a second one there, okay? So that's sort of our typical amount that we put in. For the one where we're going to put less, we're just going to put 1 spoon of Jello in. Okay, now Jello is the one that's going to make it all slime-like. And for one with more, we're going to put 3 spoons of Jello in. Okay, so there's now 1, 2, and 3 spoons of Jello. Okay. So what we're going to do next, okay, this is a little bit less on that one. We're going to put 1 spoon of glue in every single one of these containers. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to open our glue. Use a spoon we use to measure our Jello. It's a good idea to use the same size spoon for the Jello as the glue, right? So we're just going to put some glue on that until it's basically a level spoonful of glue. We're just going to pop that in. We're going to do the same for each one of them. Just going to put pretty close to a level spoon of clear glue. It works best with clear glue into each one of these containers. We're just going to start mixing them up. We're going to observe the properties, right? So our glue flows pretty freely. It's a little bit sticky, but it flows pretty freely. And of course our Jello is pretty much a solid. So as we go ahead and start mixing in our Jello and our glue, we'll start seeing it form a kind of a paste here. Okay, so we're going to see it starting to form something that's a little bit like a slime here. We can sort of see that there is pretty goopy and slimy. Okay, it actually sticks pretty nicely to this, but it still flows pretty freely. Okay, this one here we remember had less of the Jello in it, so we should be able to see this one here retain more of that glue-like structure, right? Because there's a ratio of Jello, which is what makes everything slime-like, and our glue, right, favors more glue in this one. And we can see this one here definitely still more like a sort of a goo rather than like a slime that we could pick up. Whereas this one up here, remember we had more of the Jello in this one. So if you remember the Jello, we know Jello forms like a little solid that we can eat, right? So we can actually imagine this one here being even more solid-like in its properties. So we're just going to keep mixing these in until they sort of become pretty well combined, like shown here. And then, like with all things Jello related, we're going to leave it to set for a bit, right? So normally when we make Jello, we leave it set in the fridge for about, a couple of hours. We're going to do something pretty similar here. We're actually going to let the Jello set, but we're going to actually do that up here in our little ice bath. So check back in about 30 minutes. That's how long we would recommend leaving it in the ice bath for. And we'll look at the properties of these after they've been sitting in the ice bath for a little bit. We see that this one here with lots of Jello in it is already forming a nice sticky solid. You see this one here that had sort of 2 parts Jello to 1 part glue, forming a nice little oozy goo there. And this one here that didn't have as much Jello in it, still really looks kind of relatively runny and a bit sticky. Alright, so we'll check back on this in about 30 minutes.